Thank you for your backing on Patreon.
Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. We're going to take a quick look at 2019. I say a quick look. We're going to cover the tasks that we've done in 2019 and the things we've accomplished in that year. I know we're now middle of January and it's a bit late, but gloss over the small facts. I'm a bit behind for a number of reasons. But now, bear in mind, I've got to have some prompts because 2019 has been a big year. Lots has been done, lots have happened. Been to quite a few rallies, the bus has moved around quite a bit, the channel's changed direction several times in this time, and I can't keep up with it myself, so I've got to have a few little prompts. So we'll start back in, well, according to the blog, it's June 2019, which is what I remember when we... Oh, they're not in order. That's good. Well, that's out the window then, isn't it? But I can use them as a small prompt to roughly when they were done. So, in 2019, we went from flip-dot blinds back to LEDs with some help from eBay and doing them as several different, doing them individually. You got to see us live, me and Dave, putting in the Desti blind at the front. I did the rear one and I never filmed the side one because the side one's a case of going, see, very simple. CCTV was set up in 2019 on the bus. It was also promptly removed from the bus. It's going to be put back in this year, hopefully this time once and for all sorted. What kept happening was the cabling just was an utter nightmare, totally a nightmare, and it was set up wrong. It needed, so because of how we use the bus, it needed to come on when the ignition was on, not as you turn the ignition, if you know what I mean. So when the engine's running, then it can power up. So to sort that out, we'll get another 12 volt inverter and put the feed and a separate set of wires over to it to put it on. Because the only two things we want on with the ignition is the reversing camera and the monitor. So that was that. So what else did we do? Well, according to this, we did interior lights, which we did at the start of the year. Now these have been changed and need repairing again. So, bit of backstory to them. We originally had the fluorescent tubes fitted when we had bought the bus, which was, it's standard. It's still standard in many buses now, the fluorescent tubes. You can tell when it's fluorescent tubes because when the driver switches them on, they don't all come on together. You get that long look of lights turning on as the bus down the bus, depending which starters are better than the others. We replaced these with LEDs, which then were the cold white when I ordered warm white, but didn't quite realise that. We thought it won't matter, the bus will still look brighter than it did, and it didn't, it looked duller. So we quickly changed them back down to warm white, which kind of helped do the warm white ones. And since then, they've stayed as warm white. It's got two 10-metre strips at either side, and they're just over the 24 volts. There's a few changes we want to do in 2020 to them, and they'll be done when we do the fix for them again, because they fell down slightly, so they need sticking back up, and then no one will know that there are LEDs in there rather than fluorescent tubes. Unless you watch this. What else did we do? Oh yes, on the first month in 2019 we fixed the boost pump wiring. We got that working, which quickly drained the battery and then required us to boost the battery when we was at the yard, which was interesting. That was a interesting piece of work, getting that sorted. Can't touch on how we did that because that will make several people very angry. But needless to say, we got it boosted and we got it sorted out. then thus changed the wiring again slightly, and now it works fine. It comes on with the ignition and the heating works very well on the bus. Speaking of heating, we also fixed the interior heaters as well. We got the interior fan, which I didn't film because it's not really in there, if I'm honest. It's just, I asked Connor, can you put that in there properly, because I just wedged it, and what he did then further was wedge it in even further, to the point we went over a bump, we heard bang, and then the fan continued as it ate away at some more metal. So that needs fixing. It's on the list of things. We do have a long list for 2020 of stuff that needs to be done. What else is on here? Oh yeah, Oliver cut wires and broke my gearbox. That was fixed very quickly. The engine was degunked and is doing it again very shortly, and we'll be looking at filming that even further, and we'll be getting even more gunk off the engine, as well as hopefully at some point it will be visiting the steam cleaners, and it'll have the hole underneath steam cleaned and it'll all be shiny in a dream somewhere. Other things that happened is, what I remember, because I've got them on the top of my head, is we changed the oil filters, fuel filters, but didn't change the oil, and we didn't do the hydraulic filter yet. Now, you may go, oh, you should have changed the oil when you did the oil filters. Yeah, we should have, but when your bus takes 30 litres of oil, it's an expensive do. And what we decided to do was we would replace the filters, because we didn't know when they'd been replaced last, but they look pretty new. So, no service history, it's a bus. Come from a 2-bit coach company. So we replaced the oil filters, and we decided we'll have a look at the oil as it comes out. The oil looked fine, so we've added a bit more because we dropped quite a bit. And we also had the oil leak, which we also fixed at the same time. Chris helped quite a bit with this leak and the filters and all that, and needless to say, we've got the filters, we've got oil in it. We still need a little bit more oil, but it's within the boundaries anyway. So that got done, the fuel filters got done, and then the jack went through the bottom of the bus. You won't have seen that footage, but I might include it in this video. Because you don't actually see, you just hear the jack going through the bottom of the bus, which means now at the current moment, as we speak, there's a hole in my bodywork, in my chassis underneath, which, before you all worry, it won't affect the bus whatsoever. It'll fail its MOT for it, but it won't affect the bus. We just need a bit of plate over it, and it's passed any substantial points, and what hasn't. We've looked at it closely. We're just going to put a bit of plate underneath, and no one will know the difference. It's just a weak part of the chassis that the jack went through, because the jack's only like that much hole, and it was supporting the full weight of the back of the bus, and the vibrations of the engine trying to start was enough to wear the metal down, and it just went boom straight through it. It's an abridged version of what happened, but that's what happened there. We moved in 2019, if I remember rightly, over to Town and District out of the yard. I'm sure we did. Yes, we did. We moved from the big yellow storage place, or flexi space, or storage, whatever they wanted to be called that week. We moved from them and moved the bus down, up, down, whichever way you look at the country. Depends on which way you're holding the map, doesn't it? We moved the bus to Town and District Transport Trust, which is where it's currently based and will hopefully be based for the near future. This benefited the bus because it was inside, it's easy, I'd say it's warm. It's inside, it's not as wet, although there is a leak on the roof where it leaks onto my, but crossing over all of that, it's inside. This gave us the opportunity to paint the bus this year, and boy did we learn a lot. Now, Those that have seen all the painting videos, which will be the patrons, because the patrons will have seen the sanding down, some of the red stuff, some more the white stuff that you guys didn't get to see if you're not a Patreon viewer. And to sum them up, we learned a lot. We started off at first by sanding down the entire front of the bus. All the blue, all got sanded. And we went through a lot of sandpaper and turned ourselves blue, as well as all the windows on the bus. Someone left a cab window open at some point and the inside of the bus was blue. Oh, it was a nightmare. Completely. And then Dave decided, instead of taking the decals off, he'd sand the decals off, which didn't help. But that was, yeah, that was just massive. And all this became of the GoFundMe we had, which is still live. So if you still want to give, you can do. There's still decals and stuff that we're missing, that we're going to be getting, because we had unexpected costs in all of that, which we didn't expect to maybe cost as much, or didn't expect at all. But back to the story. So then, after we sanded the blue down, the bus got moved with no mirrors into the paint booth, which then, if you weren't a Patreon viewer, you never seen it. You didn't see it until it went to Skipton, when it was in its red. We learnt a lot of lessons in the red. That is, mask the rubbers properly, and we were applying it too thick or thick in places, and we got dribbles everywhere in different bits and bits like that, which, if you've seen the bus recently, you'll notice there is dribbles on it, and coming over 2020 these will be fixed. They're not staying. We've got plenty of paint. I've got it here at home, in my home. We've still got paint left over, enough to do what we need to do. And because we know what shade we use, we can always order an extra if we need to. But we've got enough paint. So these places will be sanded down and touched up. The red was done without the GoFundMe, if I remember rightly. The white brought the GoFundMe. Yeah, the white was bought with the GoFundMe. I'm trying to remember in my own head why I'm doing this now. So, with the white, this was after it went to Skipton. It come back in its blue and red. Quite proud of the fact that I'd done the job. We decided, while doing it white, that we weren't going to sand down the entire bus, because where we hadn't sanded the front down, the painter took better to that go away. The painter took better to that. So we decided we'll sand down the bodywork damage, any bits of filling and stuff like that. We'll sand them areas down, we'll get rid of them, any blemishes in the paint, round the wheel arches, we'll sand them bits down, which matter, and then we'll just paint it white. And we did. That's exactly what we did, and that's exactly what you can see in the video. And took several attempts to get the paint the way we wanted it, and there's still dribbles all over the show with it. There's some worse than others. There's panels that I'm really proud of because there's not one paint dribble on them, and they look mint. Then you just cast your eyes slightly up and you're like, oh no, there's dribbles on it. But again, during 2020 we'll be getting rid of them as well. We're doing bits and bits, so the bus will eventually be dribble free, in theory. It may take me a while. Other things that happened is I quit Stagecoach. I went to Selwyn's. I quit Selwyn's, I went back to Stagecoach. And many as you will ask, and have asked, what was it like? Well, I enjoyed the coaches a lot. But the main reason I left is they weren't getting the private hire work. They were sending me on National Express. Excuse me. They were sending me on National Express. I didn't want to go on National Express. Hated National Express. I don't mind doing announcements, but there's so much to announce on National Express. And some of them not, there weren't a CD on the coach. So you couldn't just go, "My name is Jordan, I'm your driver for today. This is the 060 service to Leeds. Calling at Rochdale or whatever." Bradford won it. Bradford and Leeds. I have this CD for you. Can you just take a moment to listen to this brief and then play the CD? Most coaches didn't have that CD on, or the CD didn't work properly, leaving you to have to do it yourself. And because the way I am and the way you would have noticed I am in videos, I get ahead of myself when speaking. So I'd do this big spiel and I would have forgotten something simple. Normally it's my name, but I'd never really told him my name. Not many people give a shite what the coach driver's name is. Private hire they did, I'd meet on private hire, I'd go, "I'm Jordan, I'm your driver for the day. What's your plans for the day," or whatever. But that's different, that's private hire. You're with that person, you're with that client all day. National Express, you're with that person for about 20 seconds as you load their heavy luggage underneath that they haven't paid for extra, and then get on the coach and say thank you as they get off if you're lucky. That's it. So to me, them to know you need to know your name is just pointless, you know. But I did have a few jokes. I spent the summer doing the Llandudno run on the 386. That wasn't bad. I got quite a few complaints about that, but they were for stuff like not stopping at bus stops when there was no one there, you know, and stuff like that. Missing out stops when it's a full coach. So why would you? I got a complaint for missing out on Birkenhead, but as I left Liverpool, my coach was fully booked, so no one can get on because it's fully booked. So why would you go to Birkenhead where you only pick up? You know, stuff like that. But I got endless complaints. It was great, but I had my jokes with that. I took a triax every now and again, and you know, I had a joke about the fire door and the toilet door not getting them mixed up and stuff like that. You know. But yeah, National Express wasn't for me, and it might be in a different company for me, but with Selwyn's it wasn't, and that's just that. And when you've got bills to pay, unfortunately, when you're not getting the work, then you've got to do things. And I never thought I'd ever go back to Stagecoach, but I did. I've gone back, and I can't say I'm enjoying it, but at the same time, I at least now know I'm happy going to work and knowing that the money I bring home at night is, you know, going to pay the bills. So it's been a sigh of relief. Many of you have asked, in 2020 are we going to see the return of route videos and stuff filming at Stagecoach, and I don't know. I've not cleared it with them again. I have done a few whilst I've been there, I'll be honest, and they will appear shortly at some point. I mean, I had permission when I left. Will still has permission, although he's off work at the moment. So it's not like they don't know. They knew that I did it all when I rejoined, and they didn't say anything. So I'm just playing it cool, you know. And I wanted to keep everything separate, and I think this is the best way of doing it. That's again not to say that I won't be doing any videos. I've done a few already, as I've just said. Oh, what else happened in 2019? I know we attended quite a few rallies. We did a few running days, and it's great to see the videos out there on YouTube of people that have ran. Come with us and film the running of the bus. We fixed stuff like the turbo compressor, we fixed that, we fixed the engine management to a degree. It's going to take some more work to fix that. Cooling is still broken, so there's still lots to do. And this is where we need you. The advantage of filming this video late and starting 2020 with this video, I say with this video, there's been 3 but you know what I mean, is we changed our goals on Patreon and we've changed them better to suit you. And without the patronage, this project, the whole B10 thing, Mancbuses, it wouldn't exist. It really wouldn't. And we are so grateful for it. We are aiming now to get to our 7,000 subscriber on YouTube. And our goal on Patreon is $100 per month, which doesn't sound much. We're already at 80. We're not far off. But originally what $100 was, it was like, well, we'll do this and this and this, and you know, the bus will be paying for itself so we can put more money in. We've changed this goal now because after a high level brainstorming with one member of the group, because I'll touch on the group in a minute, we decided that we'll change our goals slightly, or at least our first one. So the first goal now is at $100, which is what it was at. We're already at 80. And it's that once we reach that goal, the channel, YouTube channel, will be demonetized. Simple as. Because it doesn't help us that much in the short term. It's helping in the long term, but not really. And I'd much rather create ad-free content and please you guys more, because it annoys me when I have to go and search for a video and you're watching adverts and you're on video and you're like, seriously, I just want to watch the video so I can skip to a bit, you know. So it annoys me as much as it annoys you. I know some of you go, I've got an ad blocker but I didn't remove it, but it doesn't help. Those that are patrons, or those that wish, you already get your Patreon videos and they are already demonetized. I don't monetize them. There is a few that are still, but I'm working on them at the moment. If you are a patron, you'll notice there is a great Patreon area now on our website, which has had a total redo in the end of 2019 for 2020. And this has started different avenues. It's made it look a lot better in my eyes. There's still bits I want to change and I've not got round to them. Like I said, we do have our Patreon only area. Do log in as a patron and you'll create an account already on my WordPress site. It's linked together. So there's no need to create new accounts or anything like that. You just do unlock with Patreon, and if you are a patron of mine, you get access into everything that's there. They are only the videos that I do put up on the Patreon feed, but they're obviously in an easier to find place, which for you guys is obviously better. So with all this, I am very grateful for all your support in 2019. I'm sure I've not forgotten anything. I really must write lists before I do stuff like this. But we are now aiming for our 7,000 subscribers. We are only 194 or something away as this video's made. And we need to get them. The other thing, if you've not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button down below and press the bell. The bell helps. But if not, just hit the subscribe and you won't miss anything then. It all helps. We have a lot coming up in 2020 for you. I can't say what yet because I don't know myself. Just have I can't even remember the schedule. That's how planned I am. I know I've got a bit far behind because my long list of videos that I had, which I used to go, yeah, I got a backup, yeah, it's fine, I've got a backup. It's not there anymore. So we've got a bit more National Express coming up. And then into February, we got a bit more National Express. And then we've got, a nice ride and some comedy with the B10. And then we've got Oh, we got a blog post from the work I did on the 42A. Other one needs removing, and we've got some work on the B10 which I've actually filmed, and it looks good, and I've tried explaining what I was doing at the same time, so I'm very interested to know what you all think of that. But until then, I think that's it. Oh yeah, we got a manual that we got printed with thanks to the Patreon money. This manual we had on the computer, which it was a pain in the arse, but now we've got the actual manual for the bus printed out that we can carry around the bus and generally help. And this was done by Doc Zoo, who I'd recommend because they are very good. Don't worry, they're not sponsoring the video or anything like that. It's just that we recommend them. 374's having its documents printed out with them as well, because the quality is absolutely fantastic. I also do have the proper B10B manual, which, although it doesn't really do my bus because mine's in BRE, a lot of the stuff in it is pretty much the same, so it's not that bad. So yeah, I now have the two manuals ready for work in 2020. I've been Jordan from Mancbuses. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. Please do continue to watch in this year, and any comments or suggestions, please do leave them below, and make sure you subscribe. Thank you very much. We'll see you out there on the road at the events. Don't be shy to say hi. In a bit.